Hey YouTube, thanks for tuning in. I just wanted to go over quickly how to use a link that I might send you. So if I send you a link to an online point cloud viewer, you'll get it and then you'll arrive at a scene like this. So there's a couple different ways to view these scenes and kind of interact with them. One of the keynotes is that if I do a project for you, it's going to be in feet, but I have not, to this day, figured out how to change the unit display. It's going to be displaying in feet or whatever unit that you had me survey in. But so if you're trying to use a measurement tool, it will tell you that, oh, hey, that's in meters. That's not in meters, that's actually the feet measurement, but it'll have an M after it. It's just something to be aware of. It's not in meters, it's actually in feet, but it's one of the things that I'm trying to work through. Another thing that I'd like to note is that when you're trying to do look at your point cloud in a different way, so say for example that you're trying to find some power lines or whatever. So I like to go to this earth control so you don't run out of zoom, and I'll zoom in on what I'm trying to do. So zoom into kind of a rough area here, and say for example that I want to look at this differently, not in the red, green, blue, so things stand out a little bit better. I would go into an intensity gradient, and then your power lines and whatever else really kind of stand out. You can also, choose a classification if I've done classification for you. Most of the time I will not put anything that is unnecessary, so as it takes time to process. That being said, there's some other cool things so I usually set the point size down, and I'll do a fixed point size. So that way it just helps with rendering, so it actually looks realistic once you get to like a 1-to-1 scale. And sometimes it takes a little bit to load up depending on your web connection and speed. So once you have everything set, then you can do a couple different things. You can do, the most useful tool to me is a cross section. So you click once to add a point, and then you click that point and you drag it across your point cloud. So I just wanted to see, whoops, I guess I'm adding a couple points. So then you kind of change your width of the point cloud. So maybe just go down to a 1 foot width and it'll highlight what you're looking at. And so once you have everything selected, you can show your 2D profile, and it'll render up a version. So again, this is LiDAR, so you have your tree returns and your ground returns, and so in this case then, say for example in the heavier vegetated area, like over here, and drag and drop through your vegetated areas and kind of see how your LiDAR performed. So take a good cross section through this tree area, and get our width set down and show that 2D profile. So any of this can be exported to another LAS, so it'll take that little snapshot and it'll export that to an LAS file that you can then import into Civil 3D or whatever else you want to import, or you can save it into a CSV, which will give you kind of a graph, or you can draft the cross section. So these are definitely tools that I recommend and I use a lot. You can always export from here. If you get drawing a bunch of lines and whatever and you want to export those, you can export those to a DXF and they'll match your coordinate system that I've delivered the point cloud in. You can also add annotation and then add your title to whatever. So then if you're clicking points of interest and want to communicate those to other people, then you could add that, and then you can export that as a DXF. So thanks for tuning in.